Hi, this is Scott Garibay, and we are going to talk about America's current it's present time, and we're going to talk about the rise of an incredible new job, which is super yacht hider. What? Yeah. All right. So I'm going to take a risk here. This is incredibly risky. I'm going to talk about this in the levity that I think surrounds this situation, right? Which is incredibly risky because it's really tempting to see the world that we live in as completely joyless. I don't think it's completely joyless. I think President Biden has just allowed us to reach a point where it's incredibly difficult to see any points of joy in the world, right? All right, so here's where we're at, right? So I'm gonna give this a try. Here we go. And the reason why also is like there's no success without risk, and when you risk something, you can fail. Well, so this may fail. Well, here we go. All right, I think that they're all dark clouds come with a silver lining, right? We've known this for a long time, right? And I think there's a silver lining of this caves and clubs crisis world that Vladimir Putin has put us in, which is the rise of this new, incredibly unique job, right? So this last week, at least one person, maybe 5 people, got this call. They were like, "Hey, I need you to fire everybody on my super yacht, my 450-foot super yacht, and I need you to hire the smallest possible crew you can, all who are good at keeping secrets, and then I need you to hide my 450-foot yacht, super yacht, in a world that is absolutely filled with cameras." And you're like, what? Can you imagine the woman who got this call? And she's like, "Well, I'm really good with mariner stuff, and I am, of course, a swashbuckler and a gentlewoman rogue and, an international ne'er-do-well, but I've never been posed with the task of hiding a 450-foot super yacht. How do I do this, right?" And actually, I asked my entire family this question, and my youngest daughter and my youngest son, who still lives with us, they had ideas, right? And I had some ideas too. So they said, "Sink it," right? Like my youngest daughter said, "Sink it," and I was like, "Well, wait, that's not helpful." Because it would be because you would lose the value in it, right? And then my son was like, "Well, you could take everything off first. You could prep it, right? Like, take everything off, sink it, right? And then raise it later." And then I was like, well, that's a crazy idea, right? Or it seemed like a really outrageous idea. It seemed like this outrageous idea. But that's the point. Anybody who has the money to even start this endeavor, right, is going to have billions and billions of dollars of resources. No non-billionaires have this problem, right? Like, there's no millionaires who own 450-foot super yachts, right? So whatever really outlandish idea you have, you could do it because you can have the money, right? And so so my daughter was like, "Sink it," right? Like, I don't think that's the greatest idea. My son was like, "Prep it for the sinking and then raise it later," which totally made sense, right? And actually, boy, the more I think about it, my daughter probably had a good point. Whoever did this, they may have sunk it, right? Because they're like, "Hey, that's my yacht. There ain't no way I'm going to watch Jeff Bezos get an extra one next month," right? Like, or anybody else that they're like, "If I can't have it, I'm going to put it on the bottom of the ocean." So my daughter probably had a pretty good idea there, the more I think about it, right? My son had this cool idea where he's like, prep it, take everything off, sink it, and then raise it later. I actually I'm going to modify that even further. What you do is you wrap it, right? You wrap the entire thing, right? And then hermetically seal it, and then pull it down and anchor it, right? And give yourself like 3 months. Just anchor it on the bottom of the floor and give yourself 3 months. Bring it up later, right? And then if it's hermetically sealed, you don't even have to dry it out, right? Like, the other thing I was thinking is the way you could hide it is you would need 2 tarps. Like, you would have to create custom tarps, right? Just literally something that would go over it from, you know, literally go over it the way you would tarp a car, right? So you'd have to custom make this tarp. You'd make it black for night, right? And you'd make it exactly the color of the water that it's going to sit in for the day, right? And that way it can't be seen by satellites, and it can't be, now somebody could come across it, right? But, you know, if you're a billionaire, you got enough problem, you know, got enough money to maybe handle that problem, right? It's incredible. Like, this is the strangest job that's ever, like, just appeared overnight. 450-foot super yacht hider. Like, you know, and actually, super yacht hider is like a legit job now, right? Because I think this problem is going to happen in other countries coming forward, right? Like, for other countries, for people in other countries, probably pretty soon, right? Like, you know, this isn't just an oligarch problem, right? Like, well, it'll be an oligarchs from other countries, right? So, but it's really, really fascinating. So I give you my ideas, and I had one more idea, and again, this is going to sound really outlandish, right? No pun intended. But it's not that outlandish because you have the money to do outrageous things to save this thing. And so the other one is take it onto land and bury it, right? So what you would do is you would figure out a way to bring this sucker up onto, you know, and here's another one. Oh, my daughter did say, find a cave, right? I don't think that's going to work. There are no caves that are large enough to take a 450-foot super yacht that isn't going to be, you know, like people, you know, showing up on the weekends to, you know, to drink some Snapples, you know, inside. Like, there are spelunkers. Spelunking is a thing, and a cave that large, it's going to be known. It's going to be known, right? So I don't think that would work. So what you could do, though, is you could move it out of port, right? And you'd have to do all this very fast, literally within 24 hours. And you'd have to bring teams in that would actually construct like a super shell, right? And then that would protect the device and keep the dirt off of it, and then bury it. Literally just put dirt on top of it and then bring it out the same way pirates did, right? And you're like, Scott, you can't just bring a 450, you know, foot super yacht onto land. You can if you're a billionaire. Like, you can, you know, chopper that thing up. Like, if you haven't seen, yeah, actually, this literally just happened in the latest Nathan Drake Uncharted movies. They choppered up these ships, you know, and so you could lift it with a chopper, put it, and you're like, boy, you're gonna be a lot of hiding. Yeah, you'd need a lot of hiding. You need to do it all at night, right? Everybody'd have to be wearing matte black. They could use no actual visible light, right? All this would cost a fortune, but if you're a billionaire, you could do it, right? So that's like one of the few like tiny silver linings, is we now live in a world where super yacht hider is a dope new job, right? Like, now, unfortunately, I'm completely unskilled for this job. I don't know anything. Like, I don't know, you know, all the machinery, and, you know, you'd need a really unique person to do this, right? And she's out there, and I'm sure they found her, right? Because I think right now, this 450-foot super yacht has actually disappeared. Also, I'll do the casting for the Hollywood movie now. Amanda Seyfried for the super yacht hider, assisted by Oscar Isaacs, and I would put Ryan Gosling in there, and I think, you know, that's good enough to start. That's the casting I would do for the Hollywood film that will inevitably occur, right? Like, because, like, I would really want to know how they hit this thing. It's going to be like, it's going to be very interesting to hear. All right. All that's my opinion. What do you think? How would you hide a 450-foot super yacht? Love to hear your thoughts. Let me know in the comments below. Please consider subscribing, and have a wonderful millennium.